This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ken Quigley, and today's webinar is on QuickTasks for ACT. As the name would suggest, QuickTasks was originally developed to accelerate our task management. But more than that, it will help you get better organized, improve your delegation, and simply get more done. Okay. Now, one of the things that we believe very strongly in with Keystroke is eating our own dog food. It helps us understand what works and what can be improved. The task list in ACT is great, okay, but I personally needed something faster because creating tasks in ACT took way too much time. You need to specify contacts, and let's just bring that up here in ACT. Okay, here is our ACT. And, just clicking on here, you can see a lot of information has to be filled out, okay? And anytime you do that, it slows you down, things get lost, things get forgotten. So what I wanted to do is I wanted something that allowed you to task at the speed of thought, as I like to say. And when you're entering in things like contact, date, time, duration, regarding, alarms, details, locations, all of these things slow you down. I wanted something that allowed me to create 10 tasks at the time it took me to take one in ACT. So we developed this ACT companion app that helped people. I think we're getting some audio here.
Yeah, I will check.
Okay. So again, we're going to ask everyone keep themselves muted. So anyway, I wanted to develop a companion app that allowed me to get to type 10 things at the time it would take to do one in ACT. But more than that, it wasn't just about speed. When we did this and we deployed it internally, we began to realize that people don't compile tasks like a grocery list. They often need to organize or combine a number of related tasks together to complete one larger task or project. Also, not all tasks are alike. And for this reason, we need to be able to easily organize our thoughts by subject for them to be more useful and retrievable. And also when delegating, people have no problem assigning tasks, but I can, at least speaking for myself and the other people that I know, that it's also extremely easy to forget what you've delegated. So it's great that you can assign something, but if you aren't able to follow up and check to see that it was done and even remember what you assigned, then those delegations aren't of much value. And the other thing is not everything needs to go into ACT. There are things that we can keep on a separate checklist and organizing and project planning that we don't necessarily need to have every step in ACT. And the other thing is ACT really doesn't support project planning very well, and we're going to see why when we get into this. Okay, so with all of these considerations in mind, we developed QuickTasks for ACT. Now, before we begin, I want to stress that QuickTasks works with ACT Desktop, ACT Cloud, and even ACT SaaS. So if you're an ACT user with version 18 or higher, Pro or Premium, English or French, this program can work for you. Also, don't worry about taking notes. As we set up the product page and shopping cart for you guys to refer to, plus we'll be recording this event. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you right now. If you want to find the recording, then just simply scroll down from our homepage, and you're going to see keystroke training videos. You click on that and you're going to find today's webinar scheduled. It'll likely be posted tomorrow, okay?
And also, quick, if you have questions, there's a chat, which I will be monitoring. So please use the chat to ask your questions. Thanks.
Okay, the other thing is if you're looking for the QuickTasks page, we've published it with a lot of information. Click on here and scroll down, our programs, and then QuickTasks. Okay, you can read all about it, and then you'll see here the QuickTasks 14-day trial and product manual. So here's the PDF, here's the latest installer. Okay, so you can download for a 2-week trial. So I don't want you worrying about anything other than what we're doing a demo of today, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna explain a little bit about how everything is organized. So this is actually a database program. So what we've done is we've built and structured it using SQLite. But because I want you guys to experience what it's like to actually set up the program in the first place, I'm going to see here, it's my documents, QuickTasks for ACT, and here's a little SQLite database. Here's mine. You can see it's 272K. I'm deleting it. Okay. So now when I launch my QuickTasks, it's going to come out like it will for you the very first time. You can see now it's creating a new database. And let's see, we've got more people coming in here. Sorry, I'm just muting some people that come in. Okay, so here is a blank version of QuickTasks. Okay, now, in order to understand how everything works and how it interacts with ACT, we've got to go through the preferences. So the first thing is, we're going to click on Tools, and we're going to click on Preferences. Now, how do you connect to ACT? You can connect to ACT either by the web API or the SDK. I'm going to do it through the web API because I want it to actually be talking live to our master database on the cloud. So I'm going to just type in here. I've done this enough that I know it by heart. Okay, and too many S's though. I think qc.ca/act 64. Okay, database name is KQC. Okay, so that's all we need. If I selected the SDK, all it would ask me for the same login information, but instead of the API, it would ask me to browse and select the pad file. So now I'm going to click on connect. Okay, HTTPS. I didn't put a period, a colon, I should say. So what this is doing is it's connecting via the ACT Web API to our master database. Now it says connection successful, and now you can see it's actually brought in our 41 users, okay? And this is the refresh date. So what it's automatically doing is it's going back 1 month. So it's gonna bring in all information from ACT, which I'll show you in different parts of the program. It'll import it up to a month ago, okay? You can always reset this date if you wanna do it again. Now, we're going to go into the email section. And the reason that we need to do this is because one of the features of QuickTasks is it will send out emails as you assign them. So let's say I'm assigning something to Vic. Well, he may not notice right away if he's not looking at ACT all day long because he's often testing. But when I send something to ACT from QuickTasks, it will email him a notification as well, thus increasing the likelihood that he will see it. 365.com. And it supports all levels of authentication. And successful. The next one is Linktivity. Now, this is going to seem probably the most arcane of all these setups because a lot of people on the call won't know what Linktivity is. But one of the principal features of this program is that we understand, like ACT, because when you sell ACT or you buy ACT, you basically get 1 license but 2 installs, right? 1 for desktop, 1 for laptop, 1 for home, 1 for work. So we thought we would provide licensing that's similar to that, so that if you had your task list at home or at work or your desktop or your laptop, you wanted to be looking at the same list all the time. So that has to sync through our server, and the service that we've called is Link to Tasks, and it is set up on our Linktivity server, linktivity.net. So my account is ken@kqc.ca. Quick connection. Perfect. Now, one of the powerful things is that as you write or enter in data into QuickTasks, it writes it automatically to the server. Okay, so if your computer crashed, you would immediately have a backup. If you want to avoid any of the lags that can cause, or you're worried about a slow internet location, okay, then you can select offline mode. Okay, now you'll see here start your link to task trial. Basically, that's if you go to linktivity.net and here, okay, you can actually do a sign up here. Okay, now within this program, you can just click on here. And of course, it would bring it over to the other screen. And it would bring it over here. Okay, so that's what it would look like. I'm just going to minimize that. So now this is going back to the a month ago as well. And then this is just a standard link to the Linktivity website so people understood what the services was about. Okay, now with that done, I'm connected. Now I'm going to go to my defaults. Now, the defaults, because we import in ACT and we're exporting activities to and from, we need to set up some defaults. So the first thing is, what will the default activity type be? Well, we always go with, or suggest people go with to-dos, okay? And then I just set up here, this is where you can do some kind of activity mapping with priorities and things like this. So I'll say the default is to do, the priority is low, and the color will always be black, okay? Because we support both English and French, we've got some preferences here as well. And then this is something we learned from Handheld Contact. When you're creating or when you're clearing activity, you want to specify whether the history will be created at when the activity was originally scheduled, or do you want to do it when it was actually cleared? So I normally recommend that you do it when it was originally scheduled, because a lot of the times people will not clear it the second an activity is done, and they go back at the end of the day and they kind of clean up your calendar and clear events that are being completed. But that's pretty much it for the settings. Now, I'm going to click on OK. So all of this, as you can see, you can also stretch these boards, okay? Now, you see a blank board here. There's nothing else, just the default in all boards. So let's do a quick Linktivity sync and pull everything down from the server. And now let's see what we got. Now you can see all these other boards, okay? Here's my website stuff. Here is some marketing information. Here's some Handheld Contact stuff. Lots of development, because we've got lots of projects going on. Okay, admin. And like I said, for me, I have to be able to organize my related thoughts in its own drawers. Okay, so this is how I organize. I assume that everyone else, it makes a little bit more sense. Not everyone's going to take all their socks, all their underwear, all their t-shirts and throw them in one drawer and expect that to be an efficient way of working. So I've always assumed that people would like to segment different areas of things that they have tasks for. Okay, so let's quickly go down here. So let's get into QuickTasks. Now, we always start thinking of it as a scratch pad, okay? So let's just see how quickly it can work. I'm gonna say, this is my first quick task. I hit enter, okay? Nice and simple. So this is a fairly standard. Everyone can kind of understand this simple functionality for no other reason than ACT has had Scratchpad as long as it was back since 2013. It didn't go anywhere.
Ken, if you could just take a second, there's a question in terms of how would as you're going through, how would a salesperson who's on the road use this? How would it benefit them as well? So if you could just cover that as you're going through.
Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to explain that a little bit more at the end when we talk about how we're going to be expanding the ecosystem with QuickTasks. So the first thing is, we understand we're going to provide you one copy of QuickTasks for either your home computer or your desktop. I'm going to provide you 2 activations with every license, okay? But what we're also doing next month is we're building a mobile client for both iOS and Android to further extend the syncing reach, so that you will be able to see the same quick tasks, the same list of to-dos on whatever device you're on. So you'll be able to read and clear and do everything that you can do within, well, most everything you can do within the Windows client from a mobile device. So the whole point is it's going to be ubiquitous, it's going to be fast, and we want you to have access to it from whatever means you choose. Okay, so I was going to save that for a little bit later, but I'll cut to the chase with that. Okay, now, so I've created my first task, and now that's just, we don't need a demo to understand how to enter in a first task, but there's a number of ways that you can enter in tasks. The next way is through importing. So I'm going to click on import, and I'm going to go over to the desktop where I've got QuickTasks imports. So imagine if you're new to this program and you've got an export from another program, or you've been typing up things in Excel or Notepad or something like that, and you want to just bring in things. Okay, well, why retype them? Boom, that's how fast it works. Now you see this Linktivity syncing? What that is doing is it's actually writing to the server. So right now that's automatically committed. Okay, now when you see this, this is like, here I've deliberately set up a bunch of related tasks. But the first one, I'm just going to clear this one because it doesn't really play a role here. I can either clear or delete. It doesn't really serve much purpose, so I'm going to delete it. So now I've got update website, change prices in shopping cart, change homepage image, change products on promo page, and update terms and conditions. So basically, it's 4 tasks related to this one. So what it is, it's basically a little project with 4 subtasks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to indent all these. Okay, so now I've got them very simply organized, and I can click here, select all of them at once or deselect them, but now they're kind of grouped all together in one. Now, let's say that I can, if the next task that I enter, okay, if it's unrelated to this, I can type it up here, and I can put in, this is an unrelated task, and it goes down at the bottom. But let's say I want to create another nested item. I can simply click on here, right click, and say enter task, and put in another web task. Okay, and that way I can constantly organize it, based on its relevance, whether it's nested under a particular activity, that way. Now, the other way, let's say that I want to, create something similar. I can just click on here and say duplicate task. Okay, and it creates another one. So that's another way of saving time. But let's say that someone emails me, and so many of us launch a lot of our tasks from our Outlook. So let's say I've picked this one because it's completely advertising and non-consequential, but it's Debit Zapier. She emails me every day. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say send to QuickTasks. And it's automatically going to say here, now you don't see it, so you just click on refresh. And now you see how to use Slack emoji to simplify work. So now I've typed in a task, I've imported tasks, I have duplicated tasks, so all kinds of easy ways to very quickly enter in information. However, let's take a look at what is a little different about this latest task. Do you see how this one has black with white dots and everyone else has it's white with black dots? This means that there's actually details in the task. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So I click on here, and now I can see all, this is an HTML email, so probably not the best thing to import, but it has provided all the information here. And now let's take a look at what I can do with this task. I can select a date. Now this date might just be a deadline, so I can just select there. I'm going to put in the 26th. Okay, and now I'm going to say a time. Let's just say 12. Okay, and let's go to priority. Well, we're going to put this as a medium. Well, I've set a time, so now I can actually set an alarm. Okay, And now I'm going to click on save. Now you can see how all of this looks. Now let's go back in. You can see now all of them that are set are in color. Previously they were grayed out, but now they're also, you can see how, that they're active, okay? Now here, why did we do this? Well, on this quick task list, it's impossible, especially when you get a lot of them. And if you go to my all boards, okay, I've got 96 tasks. That's a lot to sift through to determine which ones have details and which ones don't. So that's why we created this ability to determine precisely which one does. And then if I see here, okay, change prices in shopping cart, I can just put a little thing based on this month's promos. I could set the date again, but that's fine. Okay, and then that's highlighted there. Okay, so how are we doing for questions?
We've got a couple of them. Does this confirm who has made the entry? Is there a way of tracking that?
Well, who makes the entry is the person that's actually registered here. Okay, so you're registering as yourself. Okay, so this is very clear. Every single thing that you enter in here is by default scheduled. The scheduled by is the my record. Okay, and when you send it over to ACT, which I'm going to show you, it also will by default go over with the my record as well. Okay, we are going to be adding in some additional information relating to here. I've already asked that we have some create date and edit date information in here as well. Okay, and Dwayne, I know you're on the call. I noticed that you removed the apply button. Can you put that back? Because that allows me to apply it and actually see the colors changes here. I noticed that was removed with a recent build. Dwayne is our esteemed developer here who has done a phenomenal job with this program, but because he's a developer, he doesn't see this work in real life, so he thought that it would be interesting to see, when the rubber meets the road, because he's just basically been developing it at our request. Okay.
One other question. If you duplicate a parent task, does it copy the child tasks as well?
No. We don't really see any benefits of that, but what we can do, if we select this, okay, I haven't actually tested this before, and I select duplicate, will it duplicate all of them? Let's see. Nope, just the first one. Okay, I actually didn't know the answer to that. I'm not really sold on the use case for doing that, but I could certainly understand duplicating one task, but duplicating all the tasks at once, I think we'd probably need to better understand the need there. Okay, now let's keep going. You can see all of these things here. I just want to kind of, I've shown you how the arrows work. We've got here moving things around, very straightforward. We showed you the arrows for right, left, and indent and outdent. We've also got select, and then we've got deselect. Now, what are these buttons here? Well, if you've got a long list like I do, and you want to export all of them to Excel, okay, or you want to export them all to Word, or you even want to export them all to a PDF, you can do all of that with a click of a button. But let's go to something, let's say something a little bit more practical. Let's say I go to, I want to send something over to our marketing manager. So I'm going to say copy to clipboard. In this case, it's just going to show this board. Okay, and now I'm going to bring up Notepad. Boom. That's how easy it is. Okay, and think about that in terms of sending that over by email or sending it over by Slack. It's really easy to take the information that you've labored to put in here and organize and send it over one board at a time. Obviously, if you select all boards, you can have all of that information at once. Okay, so we've covered that. Now, let's do the fun stuff and get back to default. Now, I want to clear these because don't really make any use. Okay, and now I'm going to select all of these and I'm going to send them over to ACT. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys here is our cloud database. Okay, so as you can see, okay, we have 28 activities. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all of these to Act. Now, before I do so, if I don't do anything, you can see here, I put in some information here. Okay, I'm just going to clear that out because that's pointless. Okay, but here isn't just a user, it is the scheduled for. Okay, so just getting back to Act, bring this over here. Okay, when you schedule an activity, you've got the scheduled with, which can contain many different names, okay, up to 150 actually. And then you've got the scheduled for, which can only be one person, you know, so this is a single select, okay? So to understand this better, go here, the schedule for is a single select, and you're gonna understand why I'm specifying that in 1 minute. So now I'm gonna click on Save and Close. You see the details are now cleared. I'm going to select all of this. Now, I want to just, let me just actually get rid of this, deselect, get rid of these garbage here. Okay, so now I'm going to select all of these again, and I want to send these over to Act. So I'm going to click on here. Now understand, update website is the actual parent activity, okay? But it really is only these 4 tasks. So I'm going to say send to Act. Now here is where I get to assign them to multiple people. Okay, so if I have got multiple people that I want to put the scheduled with, here's where I can do that. Now, presumably when you send over a number of activities at once, you want to be careful that obviously the scheduled with are the same for each one. Okay, so because these are all, and it's sorted alphabetically, I'm going to put Carlos since he's our marketing manager. Okay, I could put one of our other developers here, Fajar as well. Now it's going to go over to both of them. Okay, now this is selecting just from the active user list. Okay, it's pulling it live, and now I'm going to click on send. Okay, so now it's going to connect to Act, and what it's going to do, because I have assigned, see, sending over 5 activities, now it's sending out the emails to each of those people. Okay, basically it's going to send a bunch of emails to both Carlos and myself. Now they're gone. Now, what do we have left? We have the parent activity. Well, we designed it so that if you have a bunch of nested tasks, we understand that you don't want the parent activity to go over, because the parent activity is basically kind of a wrapper. It's organizing a bunch of subtasks. The subtasks is what you actually want to do. But let's take a look at how that gets organized in Act. So I'm going to bring this on over, okay, and see the same number of activities, but now let's go to refresh. Okay, and now look what it's done. For all of the update websites, we've put little curly brackets as a preface so that they're all easily organizable together, okay? And let me show you why. So let's say these were sorted chronologically, as they normally are, okay? Then you might see these activities spread all around depending on when I scheduled those activities within QuickTasks. But because I can sort by the regarding column, it groups them all together. So I'm able to see a bunch of related tasks instantly together because of using QuickTasks to export them. Okay, now because I didn't change any of the dates, they would have grouped together, you know, chronologically, but that won't always be the case. And when you're project managing, okay, then you have the ability to export them and plot them wherever they are, but sort them by the regarding to put them all together again. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to move this back off the screen. Okay, now let's take a look. Now at this point, if I want to wipe this out, I can, or I can actually create additional subtasks if I want to. I'm going to just say clear. okay, and get that out of the way, okay? Now, let's say I want to actually say, well, okay, wait a second, I didn't mean to do that. Let me take a look at my task again. I'm going to click on Filter, Show All Clear Tasks, okay? And I'm going to say, well, I actually didn't mean to delete that one, so I'm going to go in here and click on Undo Clear, save and close. Now it's back again, okay? Sometimes you'll clear an activity that you realize you've got to do again, so you can go back and do it this way, and then clear it, and it goes back to that, okay? Now, as I said, as you get longer and longer, you can stretch this right and left, do whatever, okay? But that's the scratch pad portion of it and how we're able to manage a lot of tasks at once. Let's take a look at how we're able to organize, because one of the things I quickly realized when we were building this is that if you've got a lot of boards, like take a look at this, how are you going to keep track of when each thing is scheduled? Okay, like you can't magically kind of filter through all these different boards and understand what's coming next. So what we did is we created this little timeline that will show you only what has a schedule, okay? So you can see the different types, the different priorities, you can see the different times, and every single one of them, if this list gets really long, okay, then you can either search, and let's just say I put in QuickBooks, okay, it finds it instantly. I clear. Now let's say that I want to only look at to-dos. Each of these column headers, when you click on it, will sort, or when you click here, will filter. So, okay, now shows me only filters, and I can clear filter and will show me the rest. Okay, same thing with dates. Let's say I want to just say, show me everything from today. Okay, show me everything from this month. Okay, very, very easy date filters. And then if you want something that's not quite as checkable here, you can click on values and you can actually filter that way and do more targeted searches. And this will show you every single available date. Okay, and even if you want to go again by boards, you've got that ability too. Okay, but we thought if you're going to have a lot of scheduled tasks and you keep them outside of ACT, it would be useful to have a timeline feature that allows you to really focus on things that have a time priority. Okay, now, one of the things that I personally had to confess is because, and we've got 30 staff here at Keystroke, there's all kinds of department heads and all kinds of employees that answer to those department heads. There's a lot of delegations going on. Okay, I delegate a lot to my department heads, a lot sometimes to their subordinates, and it's once it kind of gets assigned, it's kind of forgotten because I have no ability to keep track of that much data in my head. However, if I do it with QuickTasks and I send it to ACT, and ACT is a wonderful tool, but you send something into ACT and you're not one of the scheduled with or scheduled for, out of sight, out of mind. You'll never, ever know to follow up on that. So what we did is we built this little follow-up feature. Now, you see that it's blank. The follow-up feature has absolutely no local data. And what I mean by that is nothing gets stored here. It checks ACT every single time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on refresh data, and it's going to show me the things that I sent over to ACT that haven't been completed. And what I mean by that is it's going to check ACT and it's going to say, show me the items that I've delegated. Who did I delegate them to? Okay, and have they been cleared? Okay, so we've got James's favorite, remind him to sell software. Now we see a bunch of these updates, okay? And we can say, okay, change prices in shopping cart. And what I can say is, okay, these should have been done by now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select each one of these and I'm going to email this person, which in this case is me. And it's going to send out 4 email reminders to that person to say, hey, I was just checking these tasks that I assigned to you haven't been done. Okay, so let's take a look at what those look like. Bring this on over here. Okay. Okay. So now, okay. So I'm getting these tasks sent over to me. Okay, Dwayne, we're probably going to have to make sure that there are more details here. I see that some of this information has changed from recent.
Yeah, just noticed that.
Yeah, this actually was displaying complete information just yesterday, so we obviously did a change here that stripped out some of that information. But knowing Dwayne, by the end of the day, that will be back in place. Okay, but basically that will say all the details of it. Okay, and it will remind them under here what the details are, and it kind of sends them back to ACT. Okay, so that helps you become a little bit more organized, track things that you've delegated a little bit more. But now let's talk about the ACT activities, because we're suggesting that you can deploy this or install this at home or any other computers, and a lot of people, a lot of employers won't allow them their staff to bring databases home, and sometimes it's tedious to log in to the database through the web, even if it's set up. So what we've done is we've set up a feature that allows you to actually import in all of your activities. So everything dating back, this is a month, the last refresh, and it's going to import in all of your activities from ACT so you can view and clear them right from within QuickTasks. Okay, so I've got a lot of tasks, as you saw, so it's going to take a minute. Plus, one of the things that kind of slows it down a little bit is the recurring activities, because we've got to kind of take a snapshot of those. All the one-offs are easy to do, but this will bring in all of the activities, and then once it's in, it'll stay here until you check again. Okay, so while we're waiting for this, let's just check to see if there are any questions. I see Goofy.
No, the only question was something about colors up from Jeffrey.
Okay, so it's asking why is it checking deleted activities? Because basically deleted activities, cleared activities all have different values, and it's checking against activities that may have already been in here that have been cleared or deleted. So obviously we don't want to bring anything down that's deleted. So here we are, we can see 31 tasks, okay? And go through here, we can see all the changes that we actually put into the website. So now what I can do is I can say, you know what, these don't really need to get done. So I'm going to clear them, record the history, okay, and now it's going to clear them. Okay, and can you use tracking for clients as well or only internally? So at present, this is about users, okay? So, you know, you're able to download the user list and assign them. This product does not currently download all of the contacts, because as you might imagine, that's going to take, you know, a fair bit of planning and, you know, kind of justifying the use case, because in our case, we have a lot of contacts in our records, and that's going to bloat up the database rather substantially. So there is a roadmap item where we will have paging access to the contacts, but at this point, we didn't see a functional use case for it. So we're just focusing on that. So now, let me just go back to, you see here, it cleared all the activities from the cloud. So how cool is that? Right from within that, it cleared it on a database that's located someplace out in Quebec, and I just cleared it here on my local computer in Toronto, okay, instantly. So this allows me to kind of go through without having ACT installed. I could have ACT installed, obviously, but you know, for this becomes a much more powerful tool if you install it on something that doesn't. But if you've got, you know, no ACT access at home, this gives you the ability to access it immediately, manage your task lists, and really have kind of a you know, efficient alternative access to everything. Okay, let me just quickly go through. Why is it checking deleted? I explained. Someone called me a goofy Canadian. I'll cop to that. This is a fun looking guy on your layout. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And let's see if that person's referring to this guy. Yeah, we don't have enough discipline here at Keystroke, and some people randomly apply things to the layout. We'll talk about that after the meeting. Let's see, does this confirm who has made the entry? We'd covered. Okay, and I update the home, have a slider with QuickTasks so you can visit the home at the end of the webinar. Not sure I understand that one. Okay, does this replace Office 365 tasks? Very interesting question. Okay, so tasks within Outlook. So let me just bring up my Outlook here. Okay, if I switched over to tasks, there is not an easy way to bring this in to Act. Okay, and in fact, it's conspicuously not easy and messy. Okay, so what we've done is we've eliminated the need for this. Okay, so you can keep track of all of these things. Now, imagine the number of tasks that you work with that you may want to manage outside of Act. So just taking a look at here, I've got my default board. Okay, I've got admin stuff. Let's update QuickBooks. Okay, development, and you can see all the different things. So as people kind of email me, what I'll do is I'll take that email, I'll fire it on over here, and add it to my QuickTasks, and I've got it as an item to be followed up on. Okay, so this one was one that was just added this morning. Okay, and then we've got QuickTasks for mobile, which we're going to have be developing next month. Okay, so now let's actually see how this works. We saw how the Linktivity works. We've made a bunch of changes, and I'm going to go back to default, and I'm going to show you guys a live. So here is my screen on the cloud. Okay, and here is my default screen. You can see all the regular boards. Okay, now let me go over here. I'm going to click on Linktivity Sync. It's now updating everything there. Now let's bring this back. And I'm going to click on Linktivity Sync. And it's brought this task over. So the point is that no matter where you are, you're going to have the same list to look at. You can imagine the inefficiency there's going to be if you've got a bunch of tasks that you have in one place that you don't have at the other, and you can only get those done when you're looking at them, out of sight, out of mind. So what we wanted to make sure is that these were ubiquitous across all your working platforms. And to that extent, or to that end, we're also going to be building the as I said, the QuickTasks for Android and the QuickTasks for iOS. We expect that to be released. We've already got most of it scoped out. And I say most because I know some of the developers are on the call and they're going to push back and say I'm constantly changing the requirements, so which is true. But we're expecting that we should be able to get all of that done, and then that way you'll be able to have it on all your computers and all of your devices. And there will not be any cost for the mobile software. Okay, the only thing you'll have to pay for is the Link to Task subscription that syncs everything together. Okay, so we do have some roadmap items that I want to share with you guys. Okay, and so in April, as I said, we're going to release the 2 mobile clients. Okay, that will really extend the QuickTasks ecosystem to wherever you go, wherever you work, online or offline. We're also looking to add a scheduling service for syncing with the Windows client, so you don't always have to click on that. Even though when you set up the your Linktivity settings, if you don't clear that box, everything that you write to this will get written to the Linktivity server. Okay. And then we are going to be examining and scoping, actually building the same application for Mac. Okay, and then here's a new feature. Remember I said that we're going to be talking about contacts? We're also looking at the viability of having a feature called Quick Ops. So another feature along here that allows you to very quickly create opportunities, okay? And if you're going to create opportunities at that point, you'll have to have paging access to the contacts. And what I mean by paging access, it takes it like one page at a time, so you're not downloading the whole database, but it's a really efficient way of tracking it. And that way you can pull in the contacts as you need them, okay? Without having the whole database local to it. So we're excited about that. And then, you know, really on a bigger level, and this is what really has us excited. On a bigger level, we're also looking to add a team feature, okay, for really powerful project management and collaboration. This would allow you to share boards with other Linktivity users, not just people through ACT, but let's say you've got someone outside of the organization, outside that is within ACT, that, you know, let's say you've hired them to do a particular project, okay? You can have a collaborative board between you two and, you know, share all kinds of different tasks together. And all they've got to do is have, you know, a Linktivity account and QuickTasks, which pretty small investment, as we'll get to, but you'll be able to share and collaborate all your ideas together within one workspace. So we're really excited about that. We're also, as we build in collaborations and we build it into more of a project management tool, we'll be implementing statuses, okay, and then filter by users. So pretty excited about that too. So those are some of the roadmaps. I can tell you now, I use this program pretty much all day, every day. As you can see here, just from my all boards, you know, I've got 88 activities that I've got active here, okay? So not a small amount. And I'm constantly adding them in through the 4, 5, 6 ways I demonstrate, either through just the lineup here, duplicating, importing, or, you know, transferring over from Outlook, okay? I just want to stress the Outlook thing. Currently, it's only the 32-bit version of Outlook. We're hoping to build, you know, future expanded compatibility to include Office 64-bit as well, but currently it's 32-bit because ACT itself is a 32-bit application. So that was what our immediate focus was on. But let's talk about what this program costs. So this program has a one-time cost of $59.95, $60, okay? One-time cost. Now, if you don't need to use it on anything more than one computer, then you don't need the syncing. You can just hammer away and there's absolutely no additional syncing cost. But if you do, it's $36 a year. That's it. $36 a year, and that allows you to sync your Windows applications together, all of your computers, your mobile devices, all of that, because there won't be any additional cost for the mobile devices. So a one-time cost of $60 and then $3 a month paid annually. So we've built this so that people can really employ it in their organization and not be fettered by cost considerations or all. You know, for the amount of productivity that you're going to get out of this, $60 is going to be the fastest, easiest cost you ever justify, because for me, it's changed how I work. I manage 30 employees. We have a decent sized business, and it's impossible to keep track of things across many, many different platforms. For me, having one entry point like this, where I can enter in all my thoughts, and then, you know, determine what I need to collaborate with, and then sync over to ACT on tasks that I need to engage other people with, is really, really handy. Okay, so one-time cost, $60, $36 a year, cup of coffee a month. Okay, allows syncing of all Windows clients and mobile devices. And there's more, and I don't mean this to sound like a, you know, one of those ShamWow commercials, but if you subscribe to Linktasks for $36 a year, you get all future upgrades of QuickTasks for ACT free of charge during the life of your subscription. Okay, so let's say that we come out with all of these different roadmaps. These are going to be a different version. Okay, so some of the versions will be within version. You'll get those updates free. Other versions like 2.0, 3.0, just like an ACT, those will be new billable upgrades. And if you've got a subscription to Linktasks, that cost will be zero. Okay, if not, then you'll have to pay for the upgrade costs. Now, upgrading your program is really, really easy. You just click on Help and click on Check for Updates. And you can see here, it's got the latest version, which is .37. If it notice a more recent version, you click on Update, it downloads it, installs it, close the program, next time it will just then launch the program again with the new updated features. Okay, and that's as easy as it is to use. So let me just see if there's any additional questions.
Ken, we have one there. So if I'm a single user, is there any basic need to use anything else for the tasks inside of ACT?
So is the question, do you need to use tasks inside of ACT?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're a single user, and I think, Paul, I believe you've got the 22 Pro, you know, that's going to depend a little bit how you work. For me, I found once I got the ability to enter in 10 tasks in the time it took me to enter one in ACT, ACT stopped being my entry point. Okay, it became kind of my collaboration point. So I would enter in things much faster. I always use the term task at the speed of thought, but you know, the truth is, if I've got something that pops in my head or I get a quick email, I want to immediately convert it into a task and then move on. And if I need to assign a board to it, I can do that as well. And by the way, speaking of board management, I love what Dwayne has done with this. So here you've got the drop down. Here you've got the plus where you can just simply create a board. Okay, and here's where you delete a board. Now let's say you import in a bunch of activities. Okay, and let's say I want to select this one and I want to transfer it to another board, transfer to board, okay? And then you just select, and I'm going to say, let's go this to the websites. And now it gets reassigned to that board. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now it's gone. Now, one of the other things I neglected to mention, because we had a lot to cover, let's get to one where we have development. And you see how we've got lots of tasks here. What if you just want to look at the categories? Okay, you can go right click here, collapse all, expand all. Okay, really easy way to manage your list. And when you start seeing all of these different functions about how you can nest them, transfer them, do all of those things, it really you realize that this just isn't, you know, your dad's scratch pad. This is a dramatically more powerful productivity tool. Okay, so Jeffrey was asking, is it Canadian or US? We sell everything in USD because literally half our business is in the United States. Even though we're a Canadian company, a third of our employees are there, half of our customers are there. So to have one constant pricing structure, we always bill on our website with USD. On our website, you can switch the currency. So just to kind of there, we go over here, go QuickTasks for ACT, the price. Okay, let's say you don't want to see it in USD, it will automatically translate it into C80 for you.
Right,
Okay.
Ken, there's a question that Dwayne answered already, but everybody might want to hear this. The question was, will it handle all types, including custom ones that I've created? And the answer is yes to that. All
Yes.
custom activities.
I saw that's from Bob. Bob, when you do the initial preference setting and it imports in all the users, and it says, you know, in our case, it said 41 users, it's also importing in all the activity types. That's why when you go over to the preferences here, you click on tools, preferences, and then you go to defaults, it immediately shows you all your different activity types because those have been imported in as well. Now, let me just, you know, you guys are going to get really reliant on this. So I want to just show you some safeguards. I said that it was a SQLite database. You've got check database, compressed database, reindex database, backup database, and restore database. So this is obviously for people that are not backing up, okay, to Linktivity every single day. You know, so if you wanted to do that, then you could certainly do that. And then you've got erase cleared tasks. So in this case, you saw that I had a lot of cleared activities. More is more. So if you wanted to clear out all of those to satisfy, you don't need to restore any of them or search for them again, then you can wipe those out. And then under file, you can see the import and then the exit. We've got a connection to our knowledge base, contact support, and then about. Okay. And we're just coming up to the top of the hour. Let me see if there's any other questions. Thank you, Jeffrey. And perfect. So if there are no other questions, I'll let everyone get back to the day. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just going to show you once again where you can expect to find the video tomorrow. We will send it out a link to everyone that registered. Okay. Sorry about the repeated presence of LUBs. It's disturbing for all of us. Okay. And then you will find keystroke product videos, and you'll find it down here. Okay. But we'll email it out with a link directly to Vimeo for you guys to review, and for the people that weren't able to attend, because we had well over 100 people register for this event. Okay, so with that, I'll let everyone get back to today. Thank you very much for showing up. I hope that you found this of interest. Please download the 2-week trial, and you can also take a 2-week trial of the Linktivity as well. And I'm sure that once you've got it set up and you get the hang of it, you're going to realize the full potential of how much this is going to improve your productivity. So with that, thank you very much.